And I'd recommend to you to draw a circle about the size of a baseball or an orange. Now it's up to you how big you want to go, but we always mention go larger to make it easier to place your features. Now lock your wrist and rotate your arm to give you a lot of messy, but ironically, these kind of crisp circles. Now drawing a perfect circle is impossible. This is the next best thing. We draw 5, 6, 10, or 20, and then keep going over it until it looks to the way that you like it, okay? A good circle, let's be real, is very helpful, right? But don't get too strung up on how perfect it looks. I draw a few and then move right along. Actually, I forgot to mention this. We're very used to drawing Mickey Mouse the traditional way that he looks. It's actually designed by an animator named Fred Moore. But in this class, we're actually going to be introducing the new Mickey Mouse. Has anyone seen the Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse cartoon shorts? Yeah, that very silly style, or the Runaway Railway Mickey? That's the one that we're drawing right now. So we're going to draw him in a 3/4 view. So I'm going to stretch out this big letter C right down the middle. He's looking towards that direction. And then part of this new style of Mickey is that the anatomy of Mickey that we're used to will change a bit. So his eye line is actually a lot farther up on the circle. Start by drawing in this letter U right close to the top. Now these cartoon shorts are hilarious. If you haven't seen them, I recommend them. But part of what makes them iconic is literally how different Mickey looks. For example, his nose would normally start right here in the middle. Now this Mickey Mouse, though, it starts way off over here on his cheek instead. Start by drawing in this little letter U, kind of poking outside of your circle, and then you turn and curve right back down to the bottom of the shape. So you're essentially creating this little question mark, hook shape, or even like a teacup handle, and pulling it right back in. Now when Mickey is turning his face, or whether he's looking straight ahead, the nose actually changes shapes quite often, in fact. What you want to do is go right here on the top of the nose, this little hill, and start by drawing in what looks like a little hair kind of like sticking out. And then from that curve, you're going to U-turn around back to the bottom of that little parenthesis. So it kind of looks like you're drawing like a little squished bean, a little noodle, right there sticking out of his nose. Now something interesting about the style of this Mickey Mouse is that a lot of the features, kind of like a character we draw here. Is anyone familiar with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit? Yeah. The way that he's designed is almost the same as this. It's a very in tune to the 1920s and 30s. So what we're going to do right now is lock in the nose and bring it all the way over to the other side of your circle. Now that's a pretty big line to lock in, admittedly, right? So take your time with this. Don't get too far ahead if you don't need to. Just very slowly lock this shape in. Now Mickey Mouse is a very iconic character, obviously, right? He's pretty much the mascot to this company. But his history is also a very interesting one because Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, as I mentioned, is a character that predates Mickey by about a year. Because Walt Disney lost the rights to the character Oswald, he needed to create Mickey out of necessity. So literally the reason why any of us are even here today is because of this little character. Now Mickey Mouse is very iconic for many reasons, and part of that has to do with how long Mickey has been around. Does anyone know how old Mickey Mouse is? Not 100. That's a good guess, though. We're celebrating 100 years of the company. So I think someone said not 73, higher than that. A little higher than 93.
105.
94. Yeah, you go. 94. Yes. Mickey is 94. He looks good for his age, right? Oswald is 95. That's how you know. Now, despite how old Mickey Mouse is, it seems like his influence and inspiration is ever reaching, right? Because these cartoons, again, are still very new. Let's establish where to place his eyes. So this letter U here is going to be the place where we want to start the eyes. Now, in the way that we're drawing Mickey Mouse now, he is turning his face slightly. It may not look like it, but this side over here, we want to draw a big oval. Yeah, big oval, right on the left side of this line right here. The eye on the right is a little bit further away, so we're going to see a little bit less of it. It's also going to look a little thinner. Bless you. Still think oval, though. Now, Mickey Mouse, back in the day, when he debuted, he had solid colored eyes. But this Mickey Mouse also uses a very classic look. He's got what we refer to as pie eyes. So we're going to draw this little letter V cut out in the middle of the oval, literally right in the center. And you want to leave that little pie slice, right, hence pie eyes. Leave it to the white of the paper and only darken in the bigger pie on the other side. So if you want to watch me do it here, you can see what I'm talking about, because I'm going to leave that little pie slice to the white of the paper, but shade around the rest of the shape. So this way, that little pie acts as the highlight for little Mickey here. It's a really easy way to add a highlight, but also a very easy way to draw in essentially what you can refer to as a pupil for Mickey. All right, Mickey Mouse back in the day has had many cartoon shorts, still does. Like I mentioned, this one here is his newest one, Wonderful with Mickey Mouse. But back in the day, a certain person was the first person to ever voice this character. Anyone know who that was? Walt Disney. Yeah, Walt Disney provided the voice first for Mickey Mouse way back in the day, but he also provided the voice for Minnie as well. He was having trouble finding the people that could voice or hit the pitch that he was looking for in his head. So his animators literally asked him, Walt Disney, why don't you give it a try? And he did, and he voiced the character for a number of years before, of course, he got way too busy and had to cast the role finally. At one point, even, the actors who provided the voice for Mickey and Minnie were a married couple. Yeah. Now, between the eyes, I'm drawing in this little curvy V. It's called a character mask. It helps separate a character's eyes. From this V, though, on the right, we already locked in the circle, so we don't need to worry about this. But over here, from that letter V, you want to follow the curve of the circle and kind of curve down to your center guideline where your eye's resting, where it's sitting here. And then bring over a candy cane that connects his cheek down to the bottom of his chin. Essentially where his chin is. Now, back in the day, in the 1920s and 30s, character masks were very vital because animation was still a little limited back then, even when Mickey Mouse was introduced. They, again, only had the black ink and the white of the paper to work with. So now the eyes will always stand out. Now, Mickey Mouse has gone 94 years giving the entire world smiles, right? Let's reflect that here for our own Mickeys. Right underneath, in the space between the cheek and the eyes, I'm going to bring down this kind of curved, it's a very wide, almost straight, but slightly curved letter U. We're giving him a big smile. If you wanted to, we're actually going to open up the smile. You can leave the smile like this, and it comes across as Mickey Mouse, absolutely. But Mickey Mouse's number one descriptor is he's very optimistic, very happy-go-lucky, right? The kind of person that we want to be. In fact, Walt Disney did say himself, there's a famous quote, where he says that Mickey Mouse is the kind of person that we all strive to be, but deep down we're all really like Donald Duck, right? Mickey Mouse is a little too perfect for us. Donald Duck really fits that look. I think he's onto something. Now, when you're drawing in that second letter U, you want to go really big here. Again, the style of Mickey Mouse that we're drawing, the expressions are like crazy. Again, if you haven't seen them, I highly recommend them. You see a side of Mickey Mouse that we haven't seen for a while.
Good job.
Now, normally you wouldn't even see the teeth for Mickey Mouse, but for this version you would. You want to draw a letter U right underneath the first to show a little row of teeth. But again, this just goes to show you how stylized this Mickey Mouse is. We're not going to worry about each individual tooth. Instead, you draw this letter U and just draw 2 lines. Literally instant teeth. All right, our final step, before we get to the ears, I guess the second to last step, is if you wanted to, you can also just shade in the smile. It's a really easy way to just show that big confident grin. But Mickey's tongue in this short doesn't even attach to his mouth. It's kind of floating above his smile. You start by drawing in this little letter U above the mouth, just barely above it. And I'm going to start on the left and bring over this little mountain. Looks like this little swoop curve. And then from behind this one, I'm going to bring it up to the other side. Again, it kind of looks like a little bean shape, a little noodle. But our Mickey Mouse is, of course, our Mickey Mice, I don't even know how to say it, Mickey Mouse here that we're drawing, is, of course, missing those ears. Now, no matter which direction you're looking at Mickey, you're always going to have full view of those ears. And that's the way that Walt Disney, in fact, designed it. He wanted it to be like that. This Mickey Mouse, though, his ears look more like ovals than they do circles. The one over here on the right, technically this is the right side, it's going to sit right up above, closer to this eye here. So somewhere on top of it, draw a little oval. And this Mickey Mouse style is so like kooky and cool. You can even have the ears floating above his head. They don't even need to kind of touch here. And then this side over here is closer to the cheek. And once you've done that, you have just drawn your own messy, sketchy portraits of the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse. All right, in the end, how'd you do out there? Pretty good. All right, we lost a lot of you there, though. Maybe you're still working. That's okay, too. Well, here's what we'll do. Go ahead and add in any last-minute touches or details that you'd like. But go ahead and sign your sketches.